Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be giving you a review of a television series on the Investigation Discovery ID network. It's called See No Evil. Now, what the premises of the show, what it focuses on, are crimes that are committed when they had no, not when a person did not eyewitness, uh, you know, crime or kidnapping or what have you. And the thing about this is, I mean, the crime could be multiple things. It could be a murder. It could be many other things. Like I stated before, maybe it could be a kidnapping. I haven't seen all the episodes, so I don't know, what they specifically, covered in all of them. But the thing about it is, it's basically where they're using video surveillance technology, cameras, in order to apprehend a perpetrator. Now, the thing about this is that um, with the advance, I mean, the technology with the cameras, I'm sure they have very advanced zoom, magnification techniques on them, or what have you, and it shows that these investigators, detectives are working, relentlessly at times, trying to visually, um, you know, see, get some kind of clue as to who these people are that are committing these crimes. It could be just getting a partial license plate, or it could be simply, a car model, knowing the time when somebody suspicious is pulling out of a parking lot at the time when the crime was committed at that spot, so or near that in that vicinity. So it's things like that. It might even be um, seen videotape on from cameras that might have been, I would say, even maybe at traffic lights that are in the area that are near the time, maybe shortly after the crime is committed. I saw something, and one time, and I don't know if this actually ever appeared on the show, See No Evil on the ID network, but this is something that could apply, to a, as far as video cameras being able to help apprehend a perpetrator. Is that there was some show one time where what happened was they didn't, woman or had disappeared or something. Some woman had disappeared and gone into a hotel room, and they couldn't actually ever see the woman departing the hotel ever. And what happened was there was this one detective that had gone, he looked at this, looked at some footage of the hotel. I believe it was a hotel anyway, and it showed that it was like, some guy was trying to pull a suitcase out of the room, and it appeared to be this big, arduous, strenuous task, just trying to pull, one of those rolling suitcases out of the room. And it seemed a little bit bizarre to the detective, and they found out later on that that was actually because a person, that woman was in, or that guy, whoever it was in that suitcase actually. So this show is really very good. It's beneficial to showing how, the video cameras can capture, even clues, even if it doesn't actually show the full person that may have committed the crime. It could still bring clues that ultimately lead to the person's apprehension. And what this does is, I think these shows are very good and beneficial to others, because it can act as a deterrent to people that may potentially commit crimes. Even if you think you have this infallible, flawless crime, there's usually something out there that will get you in the long run. And even if you have no actually human eyewitnesses, that in this case a camera can provide that for you. And you have a lot of people, that detectives out there that will work relentlessly on a case in order to find out who committed the crime. Yes, you have some detectives out there that don't, that are more apathetic, and they don't want to, take their time to actually solve the crime. But you have a lot of those people that are very proficient at what they do. And if you have somebody that's very determined to find out who it is, if they get a little, evidence from, video footage, it could be enough to get that person in the long run. It can deter people from committing crimes, but also it even shows other people, even it could even be some experienced detectives that might see this show, and it'd be auspicious for them, because it might be something that they learned through another case that they saw on this episode, or an episode of this show that they could apply in a case that they may have to deal with in the future. So these are some things to really look at and understand. I mean, I really like this. I really like this show. I do give it 5 stars out of 5. The Investigation Discovery Network does have a lot of very good um, shows on it. They're very compelling, and there's something that we can learn from these shows, and it lets us know, be cognizant of, that there's more evil out there, I think, than people realize, and there's a lot of people out there that put on their superficial front. I call it superficial charm in some cases, just to kind of lure you in to their web. It's always good to maybe do a background. Not maybe. I'd say it's imperative really to do a background check on people if you don't know them very well. You can go to mylife.com. They can give you. I mean, you have to pay something to get a background report, but you could also, there's other things too, like on mylife.com, there's some information you can get for free, and even something as a birth date can actually help you and be something that's advantageous to you. I mean, if somebody, you find out somebody's lying about their age, for example, what else could they possibly be lying about? So they have on mylife.com, you could find information on a lot, and many of those people that you search on there, a lot of them you can actually find their birth date, and you could also get their credit rating, their credibility rating, and if it's very low, I'm not 100% sure on this. You'd have to confirm this on the internet, but I think the rating is between like 0 and 5, and 5 is like the best, and 0 would be the worst. And if somebody's got something like under 2.5, then it's something you might have to consider. That person might be a little shady. It doesn't mean that they're this completely nefarious person or career criminal, but when you have a low credibility, or whatever it is, the credit rating on there, that could be a little bit of a red flag. And especially if this person is coming across you as somebody that's very scrupulous and is not betraying any really outward, I guess you could say, negative or adverse behavior or mannerisms or what have you. So these kind of shows are very good, and the See No Evil is certainly no exception to this. And See No Evil is something which really lets people understand that even if you don't have any eyewitnesses, you act physically, you still can have something that's through technology. And one other thing I'd like to say on this is that I think too, what this lets people know is, if you've had some unsolved crimes and you didn't have if it was attributed to not having a camera at the business or workplace, especially if you're in a remote, desolate area where there's nobody, really, where a lot of times somebody can come and say to a convenience store dead at night, like 2 in the morning, and there's nobody there but the worker and the perpetrator. It's really good to make sure you have a camera, and it's worth spending the money as long as you can spare it, of course. Fake cameras can be deterrents, but of course it's much better to have an actual working camera, so if a crime is committed, you could capture it on the camera. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment, and until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.